Wait a minute. Oh, hello. Okay, so this will be the third and final video in our series on working with Python packages and how to set up your directory structure so that you can properly access all of the packages and modules that you create as part of your project. The Python path variable is what's called an environment variable. And that means that it's unique to the virtual environment that you're using to code in Python. Now, integrated development environments such as Spyder, VS Code, and PyCharm have settings that allow you to specify a Python path that will persist from one session to the next. But if you're writing code, for example, in idle, or you're running Python code from a terminal prompt, you'll need to set the value of Python path each time. Okay, let's take a look at the directory and file structure for this video. This is very similar to video number 2, where we have the My Project folder, which is the root project folder, and inside of that we have two subfolders, one called My Package, which houses all of the modules, and then we have one called Progs, which has our main Python program file. We won't be using the helpers.py file that we used in the last video. So if you want to make a copy of the directory, or just go ahead and delete helpers.py, because you won't need that for this video. Here's the code that's inside of main.py. So I've eliminated the code that we created in the last video where we used helpers to append the working directory, the parent directory of our project, into the sys.path variable. We won't need that for this video. Okay, so right now with this directory structure and this particular package imports that I have, we wouldn't expect this to work because Python will not be looking in the right place for these packages. So let's go ahead and test that. I'm going to run this code. And as you can see, we get the no module named my package as expected. So it can't find where that package is. Okay, so if you're using a integrated development environment such as Spyder or VS Code or PyCharm, they all work a little bit differently. You have the option in there to set environment variables for Python path, and it will automatically append it to the sys.path variable. And here's how you do that. I'm going to show you how to do it in Spyder. The Python logo from the toolbar right here, if you click on that, this is the Python path manager, and you can add new paths to this, and that will alter the Python path variable and append the information to sys.path. So I'm going to click on the little plus button right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and navigate to where the project folder is. So in my case, it's this folder right here, My Project. So I'm going to select that. And so now you can see that in the user paths, I've added this path in there. And so now when I use Spyder to run my code, it should append that path into sys.path, and the program should work. Let's try it out. There we go. So now you can see I ran the code, and the 3 function calls all worked without error. It was able to find the packages and the modules. Let's just take a look at our sys.path variable. I'm just going to import sys in the console, and let's look at sys.path. And so there you can see the actual project directory has been added to sys.path. And if I were to remove that, let's go sys.path.remove, and let's remove that folder. I'm going to copy it right here. And so let's verify that it's not there, sys.path. Okay, so it's no longer there. I'm try and run this code. And now you can see we're back to no module named my package. But if I were to close and reopen this session, so let's go ahead and do that, cancel. And actually, I think if I restart the console, I'm going to restart the kernel here. And now let's try to run that code. Now you can see that it works because we restarted the kernel, so Spyder appended the Python path variable into sys.path for me. Okay, so that's if you're running your program in a development environment like Spyder or VS Code or PyCharm. But what if you are working in idle, or you are running your code from a terminal prompt? I want to show you how to do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close down Spyder. Okay, so I've shut down everything. Now I'm going to go ahead and load a terminal prompt. I'm going to use the Anaconda PowerShell prompt. You don't have to use, you can use PowerShell prompt just from Windows if you like. I like the Anaconda PowerShell prompt because it shows you what environment you're in. The Python path variable is unique to the environment that you're in. So for example, in this case, I'm in my base environment. And let's look and see what the value of Python path is currently. And the way you do that is with the following command: $env colon and then uppercase Python path. Okay, so those are all of the same paths that were in my default Python path value that you saw in Spyder. And you notice that the My Project folder is currently not in Python path. So I'm going to navigate to the project folder right now, which is in Python, and it was called Packages Tutorial. And My Project. Okay, so this is the directory of My Project folder. You can see my two folders there, My Package and Progs. And so I'm going to go ahead and run the main.py from a terminal prompt. And this is how you run a Python file from terminal prompt. You type in Python, and then the path and file name that you want to run. In this case, I'm going to look in the Progs folder, and I'm running main.py. Okay, so you can see here that I got an error. It says no module named My Package. Okay, so we had a failure. We got an error because Python did not know where to look for the modules. And the reason for that is because we are running Python in the base environment, and we have not added that path to the Python path variable. And here's how you can do that. You can set the Python path variable like this: $env colon uppercase Python path equals, and then you type in the string path that represents the root of your project folder. So that is C Python packages tutorial. Again, your directory may be different, so you put in your own path. My project. End quote. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter there. And now let's take a look at what the value of that variable is again. Let's see, go backspace out here. Just type in $env colon Python path. And now you can see Python path is now set to the My Project folder. So let's run the code again to run the main.py file. Python space progs / main.py. And there you go. You can see now that I've run main.py, this time having added the project folder to the Python path variable, I have the code working properly, was able to find the modules. And here's something we can test from this environment. Let's run Python, and we'll get this little 3 dashes here. So it runs a little console in our terminal, and we can actually type in Python commands. Let's import sys, and let's look at the value of sys.path. And you can see inside of sys.path right here at the very beginning, we have the path that we added to our project, and that's why Python was able to find the modules.